are exceptions though, in terms of, as Mike highlighted, the partisan atmosphere here. One of the things I came to appreciate as a member of the Armed Services Committee was its bipartisan tradition. And it is a place where partisanship, given that partisanship is too often accepted as a way of doing business here, we've seen it, and I think Mike highlighted so well kind of the where we end as a result of it. But the bipartisan tradition of the Armed Services Committee is a long-standing one, and I think that our next speaker has a deserved reputation of helping to preserve that and promote that. The ability of the committee to put our national security, as well as the interests of our servicemen and women above partisanship is very, very important. And Congressman Thornberry of Texas, who serves as the chairman of the committee, is the first Texan to hold that position and honors that tradition. Congressman Thornberry was elected in the watershed GOP year of 1994 after having served in the Reagan administration as Deputy Secretary of State for Legislative Affairs and working as an attorney in Amarillo, Texas. As we heard from General Milley, our nation is facing unprecedented security challenges, and that leaves our committee with a thoughtful and experienced hand. We will, within a couple of weeks, be marking up the National Defense Authorization Act. It is a bill that, as I mentioned earlier, comes to the committee. It really covers all of what we have to do to well defend our country. This is a bill unlike many other committees you will see reported out of committee, brought to the floor for a vote. The Senate will do the same thing. It's a very proud legacy of the committee, and it's my honor to introduce Senate Congressman Thornberry of Texas, Chairman of the Armed Services Committee.
Well, I appreciate Nikki inviting me to come by and say hi to y'all. By the way, if you need a translator at any point, just raise your hand and I'll try to limit my y'alls and whatnot. But I was glad to have a chance to say hi to General Milley as he was leaving. As y'all talked about, Massachusetts has a proud tradition of contributing to our nation's security. And I want to thank you for contributing Nikki Sonkus to our nation's security, because her service on our committee is absolutely consistent with the tradition that she was just describing, looking out for the nation's security, for our troops first, having a balanced view, knowing which questions to ask when General Milley or others comes before our committee. She makes a very valuable contribution, and I want to thank y'all for sending her and allowing her to sit on our committee. We're also very glad we have Seth Moulton from Massachusetts, who also sits on our committee. Both, and he also does an outstanding job. Apparently, General Milley mentioned to y'all that we face a very complex, dangerous national security environment. As a matter of fact, we've had folks come before our committee and testify that at least since the end of World War II, and maybe ever, has our country faced so many serious national security challenges all at the same time. And if you just think in your mind about some of the headlines of today or the last week, you have things like Russian fighter jets buzzing close to a Navy destroyer. You have all the ISIS stories. You've got China building military bases in the South China Sea. You've got this young guy running North Korea who's shooting off missiles left and right. You've got Iran that continues to sow dissension all through the Middle East, regardless of the nuclear deal. You have regular cyber attacks. I mean, the list goes on and on. One of the priorities, and it is a bipartisan priority of our committee, is to recognize that the Pentagon bureaucracy does not move as fast as the world is moving. So part of our job in Congress, as Nikki mentioned, is every year we pass a bill. And as a matter of fact, for 53 straight years, Congresses of both parties have passed, presidents of both parties have signed this defense authorization bill. It does everything from decide how many troops we've got and how much they get paid and what their benefits are, to how much ammunition we buy, how much training they get, research and development into future capabilities, everything that deals with the military is wrapped up into this bill. But that puts a significant responsibility on Congress's shoulders. And as a matter of fact, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says it's Congress's job to decide those things. And for 53 straight years, we have. But that means part of our responsibility is to make the changes that are necessary to keep up, to allow the military to keep up with the way the world is changing. So we've got a major initiative right now to improve the way the Pentagon buys stuff. And Nikki has been a major contributor of this, meeting with defense companies in y'all's area, and then coming back to the committee saying, this is what I heard, these are some of the reforms that need to be made. Just in shorthand, we are now fielding the F-35 fighter, which you've heard about. It's taken more than 20 years to get that fighter to this position. If it takes us another 20 years to get the next airplane up, we will be hopelessly out of date and behind where our adversaries are. And that's not even counting cyber attacks and the other things that are moving literally at the speed of light. So we're trying to make sure the taxpayers get more value for the money they spend, but we're also trying to speed up the system so that we get the best technology into the hands of the war fighters as fast as possible. So acquisition reform, improving that system, is one of our reform efforts. Another is to not take for granted the people who serve in the military. Last year we passed a new retirement system for the military. Some of y'all may know, right now under the system, you got to spend 20 years in the military, and if you leave at year 19, you walk away with 0 retirement. Now, we don't change anything for the people we've made promises to, but looking ahead, we're not going to be able to continue to attract and retain top quality people unless we can be more competitive with the private sector. So we changed that to more of a 401k blended system that is more like what private industry is doing to help recruit and retain top quality people. And then we have other reforms dealing with Pentagon bureaucracy to try to thin that out, make changes again to reflect the way the world is moving. I had the opportunity to be in y'all's neck of the woods at some point last year, visiting a number of places, from the GE engine factory to MIT, a biodefense company. Biodefense is a significant threat I haven't even mentioned yet. And it just reinforces my view and the point I made earlier. It's the people that Massachusetts contributes. It's also the industry, the innovation, the ideas that Massachusetts contributes that enables folks like General Milley and about 1 million more to defend our country. That's really important. Our way of life is not possible without security. And none of us can take that security for granted. As I say, y'all contribute to that security in a host of ways. And so I wanted to come and say thank you for the ways that you contribute, and encourage you to pay attention and stay involved, because we all have a lot at stake. Thank you.